Hi, I'm Rachel.
Hi, I'm Ariane.
And you're watching Arts Alive Delaware. Ariane Harley Emerson, who I am just really privileged to work with, had an idea. And his idea in the beginning of 2020, really, and then going into 2021, a lot of marination time over the pandemic, was to quite literally elevate the vocal arts in the Delaware community. So Ariane was able to see that we had just some holes that were there that needed to be filled. So teachers needed more support. We didn't have a professional choir that was in Delaware. He had this idea for Bent But Not Broken, which is a conference that elevates the music of the African and Black diaspora. And so the idea that Ariane had was to bring all of those things together under this umbrella organization, Elevate Vocal Arts.
The vocal arts historically have been seen through a fairly narrow lens of artistic merit, meaning that when we think of the vocal arts, we think of opera and kind of classical idioms of choir. But what about like hip hop, jazz, R&B? What about spoken word? And so we believe that the vocal arts are any way that we express ourselves using this wonderful instrument that we have here that is made up of vocal folds slamming together. And it's amazing that these vocal folds are enabling us to be able to express creatively, whether that's singing, whether that's rapping, whether that's spoken word, all of that is part of the vocal arts. And so we wanted to widen that. And why did we want to widen that? Well, we wanted to widen that because we wanted to have a more inclusive vocal arts ecosystem. So when you take a look at the vocal arts ecosystem, the professional vocal arts ecosystem, and I use air quotes because when we think of professionals, we think of conservatories and the opera companies, which are all great and wonderful, and that's not a knock on any of that. But how many people are artists out there who are doing excellent work, that are moving society forward, that are commenting on the biggest challenges and opportunities of our time? And we need to include that in what we're doing, because it's more than just about the art itself, it's about the stories that are told. And when we share stories and we act upon the stories, that's what we call democracy. And so it's really fundamental that we have every voice find a home within the vocal arts.
The folks that benefit from Elevate Vocal Arts are honestly PK all the way through our oldest citizens here in Delaware. So because of the wideness of our offerings, we are able to serve PK through 12 population in our school residency programs. We really are able to tap into sometimes a missed opportunity for folks that are in that 18 to 25, that maybe they're still in school, maybe they're in grad school, they're not quite sure where their career is going to go. So we're able to help them during our Summer Institute program as vocal arts apprentices. And then of course we have our very public-facing opportunities in elevation performances and also our Bent But Not Broken conference. So we are looking to expand those audiences. It's really important for us at EVA to be performing in all 3 counties throughout the state of Delaware. We are on a nationwide stage for the Bent But Not Broken conference. So we have folks from all over the country. Those are people that are coming to the conference, those are ensembles, those are honor choir students, all coming together, coming to Wilmington to be able to experience Bent But Not Broken, which is a conference that's elevating the music of the African and Black diaspora. We are an intentionally diverse ensemble. So that means that not only is the music that we're doing, we have literally done Bach to Beyonce on a single concert, so the music itself is very diverse, but the ensemble itself is extremely diverse. So we do not have an ethnic majority in our choir, which is extremely unusual, if not the only one potentially in the country right now. So because of that, it means that our audiences are also diverse. This is a problem that a lot of community and professional choirs face. The audiences are going to be reflective of the ensemble. So one of the things that we are doing at Elevate Vocal Arts to expand that is reaching out to communities that might not typically have access to professional choral ensembles, to those performances, making sure that students also have access to being able to attend those performances, to make sure that as we are expanding the definition of what excellent vocal arts are, we can include that with the audience.
Simply put, we have three fundamental pillars, I would say. Those pillars are workforce development, performance, and education, right? So everything kind of fits within one of those three buckets. One of the things that I'm most passionate about, I guess I'm passionate about all of it other than over here, but I think workforce development is one of the most pressing issues of our time. And the reason why I think that is because technology is advancing, the arts are advancing, everything is changing at a rapid pace right now. And if we want to keep up, we need to train our workforce in effective ways to make them marketable. And when I think about the vocal arts, because the majority of vocal arts or music in general is not what you would find, money that is, from the industry. It's not from your traditional opera, ballet, symphony. It's from contemporary commercial music, right? And so we have to keep that in mind. And how do we prepare people so that they can go in and out of these different kinds of experiences? Maybe they want to sing with a professional choir that is classical on Monday, and then on Friday night sing in the jazz club, right? This idea of the creative economy, of the gig economy, is growing. It is the fastest growing part of our economy outside of the green economy is the creative economy, whether that's music and video games, whether that's people busking on streets, whether that's teaching artists in schools. There is a growing need for vocal artists, and the training that we provide is essential in that next step, preparing people for whatever is next. That includes, of course, the vocal art itself, whether that's spoken word, singing, rap, hip hop, whatever it is, as the vocal art, but that's marketing, that is how to read a contract. How many people don't know how to read a contract? How to effectively leverage social media, how to create an artist portfolio. All of these things are critical to be successful. And those are workforce development skills that are in fact industry specific. They are industry-specific workforce development skills that are essential for being successful. So that is one of the pillars that I think is important, and one that I hope to see other organizations as well embrace, is that workforce piece. The performance element is probably most easy to see in our organization. It's like that tip of the iceberg, and a lot of the other work that we do is below. And most people see elevation or some other sorts of performances that we might host or put on. So that's more in the traditional sense of performance. And then for education, we do education in a variety of different ways. So that's in PK through 12, ensuring that all of our students in Delaware have access to an inclusive vocal arts education. So that's going beyond Bach, Beethoven, and Brahms. Love those guys. They're wonderful, they're great. But we should also be learning about Florence Price and Margaret Bonds and Beyonce and Taylor Swift and all of these other folks as well. And so we're doing that, making sure people are having those experiences in their schools. And we are also helping teachers as well. So we're team teaching with teachers, because the truth is we don't learn any of this in music school. I've gone through lots of music school, just lots and lots of years of music school, and there is no pathway for teaching music that is really inclusive. And there's certainly not a pathway about teaching music from the Black diaspora. And particularly here in Delaware, we have this wonderful piece of legislation called HB House Bill 198. And an HB 198 is a requirement that Black history is a part of education. From PK all the way through 12, all public education should incorporate Black history. But what does that mean for the arts? What does that mean for the vocal arts? How is that implemented? If we as artists were not trained on that in our pre-service teacher programs and universities, then how are we actually prepared to integrate this music into our curriculum and align it to both state and national standards? If someone is interested in getting involved with Elevate Vocal Arts, send us a note. You can go onto our website. If you're wanting to sing in our professional ensemble Elevation, you can just fill out a form there. We are very informal about auditions and very open-minded. We seek to disrupt a lot of the gatekeeping practices that have historically been in professional choirs. So you simply fill out a form, you send us what you do. Like, we aren't going to require what the repertoire is. We want to see what it is that you are good at and what you feel comfortable with. And so it's more of a hearing, like, what could we possibly do together is more what the process is like. And then we bring those folks in for an in-person audition with the choir, and they sing along with the choir, and that's our process. If folks are wanting to get involved with any of our professional development offerings, they can see things on our event page, and you can sign up to go to a webinar. You could sign up to go to a concert. So you can just really visit our website and find a wealth of information about how to get plugged in. And then you can also find out how to volunteer as well. If you're like, oh my gosh, I don't know what I can do, but it's not happening with my vocal folds, and I'm definitely not a teacher, but I want to do something, you can fill out a volunteer form, and there are a bunch of different ways that we can get you plugged into the organization. Supporting the arts in Delaware and everywhere is of critical importance. Oftentimes when we think about our society, we think about like our government and all of those sorts of things, and that's great. Those are a reflection of pieces of what we do as a society and parts of our interactions and all of that. But the arts really reflect back to us who we are. And so it's really important that we are engaging with the arts. It's really important that we are teaching the arts in schools and beyond schools, because we are all continual learners. And it's important that we financially support the arts as well, because arts ain't free. Nothing in this world is free. It takes investment, and I say the word investment because a lot of people think, oh well, the arts, they're nonprofits, they're charities. No, art is not ornamental. It is absolutely fundamental to every aspect of our life.
When we're thinking about supporting those arts, particularly in schools, starting at the bottom, making sure that students understand the possibilities that are out there. This is a really big thing that Elevate Vocal Arts is trying to do in supporting the arts in Delaware, is making sure that students understand the wide range of possibilities. There are so many ways that you could be involved in the arts, but if we don't have that infrastructure, if we don't have the funding, if school programs are being cut, then they literally don't know that those opportunities exist, and then we limit the opportunities for not only the creative economy, but the economy in general. So it's our goal at EVA to make sure that students, the general public, legislators understand how important and fundamental the arts are to our society as a whole, and we are here to do whatever we can to support that endeavor.